Hey guys, Heather here with Northern Vintage Decor, and I wanted to come on this morning and kind of share with you a little bit about junk journaling, what the benefits are, and I think that I'm even going to make a softbound journal while I'm on the video here with you. So I'm just kind of going to go through, get started. I want to show you some tools that I use on a daily basis when I'm making the journals that I found they're very cost efficient, yet they really do make a difference when creating journals on your own. And even if you decide like journal making might not be for you, but you would like to purchase the journals and use them, some of the items you may still want to have on hand when you're creating with the journals that you may have purchased. Masking tape. I use this to bind the support the spine to give it strength. So if I'm using a journal that has, let's say I'm using like an antique book and the spine to me seems a little bit weak, but I want to preserve it because I like how it looks or whatever, I will reinforce the inside of the spine with masking tape generally. Sometimes I'll then go over it with a decorative tape if I feel like it's going to show through. But one of the benefits about using a neutral color such as this masking tape is it blends nicely with a lot of the pages that I put in journals. So if you've seen any of my journals or have watched me from time to time, a lot of times I'll use pages that are this shade, and then the masking tape just blends really nicely with it. So there's that. Some other items I like to use when journaling, very simply, a hole puncher. This comes in handy for a numerous projects, whether you're making tags, you're doing the book binding. You're definitely going to want to have one of these on hand. They're very inexpensive. I got this at our local Dollar Tree. Another item that's important, like I don't sew. So if you don't sew, that's okay. I would like to learn in the future, but for right now I don't sew. But I do a lot of gluing, and there's nothing wrong with that. I have one of my favorite types of glue is this Distress Collage medium. And this is by Tim Holtz. It's a Ranger brand, but Tim Holtz designed it, and I just got this. I actually did have to order this online. For whatever reason, most of the craft stores don't carry the collage medium, and it's really a great adhesive glue. So I would recommend this. When I use the Tim Holtz Distress Collage medium, I apply it on the back of the item that let's say I'm like collaging in the journal. I'll apply it on the back, and then I'll usually go over on the front of it too if I feel like it needs it, especially if it's a tissue paper. You can use this instead of Mod Podge, and I actually like it better than Mod Podge. So when you're like decoupaging items, you can use this too. Alright. And then the next item I like to have on hand when journaling are these little dabbers. Now I use all different types of dabber items. I also use, sometimes I'll even use like makeup sponges that I purchase specifically for making journals with, using the ink with. They're usually, you can get a pack of them even at the Dollar Tree, and they're inexpensive. But I had seen these specific dabbers in, I think it was Joann's or Michael's, and they were on sale, so I was like, okay, I'll give these a try. And I just realized you can literally put them on your finger and use them, so that kind of makes sense too. But I was just using it like this. I'll show you as I go further in the techniques with these, but I like to ink the edges and make them look time-worn, and these are really good to do so with that. I try to keep one color per dabber or sponge of ink, just so we're not blending inks and it doesn't create a huge mess. I'm sure once it's dry you could double ink if you wanted with different colors, but I do try to keep them on a 1-to-1 ratio with that. Let's see here. I do like using tape. I wouldn't say like decorative tape is like a must-have when you're first getting started, but it does make it fun. So this is actually from the Washi Tape Company. This is some of their new fall line, and I'm incorporating this as I like creating my early launch of the autumn fall journals, and you'll see in some of my journals I've used this tape. It's very pretty. It has like that late summer early fall vibe. I'm just gonna bring this down a little bit because my lighting there. Okay, I think you guys can still see okay. Another item I like to use in my journals is fabric, specifically linen fabric or bark cloth, but I'm open to all fabric if it's beautiful. I love textiles. There's just something about beautiful colors and fabrics, and this to me is like a late summer, early fall print, and I will show you in a moment. Hi, Kai! I got my, if you guys know, I have 2 rescue huskies. I love them to pieces. Kai is in my office with me, and she wants attention. She's a husky, so if you know anything about huskies, they love attention. And she talks, so you might hear her. But yes, fabric. Now, I was fortunate enough, a few years ago, I met this really neat seamstress in my hometown, and she's so cool. I think she's still here. I just lost touch with her, but I seen her one day, like, throwing her fabric scraps in the garbage, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like, in my mind, I'm thinking of all the stuff I could make with that, and I literally picked a piece out, and she's like, what are you doing? And I was like, well, you can make so much with this fabric, and she's like, oh, do you want fabric? And she gave me like 2 huge bags full of scrap fabric, and it was just, I still have a lot of it today because I don't sew, but I do make like the flower fabric, embellishments, and all kinds of stuff. So yeah, this fabric, and you can get scrap fabric, you can buy fabric from the yard. Joanne has really good sales. If you want like vintage fabric, estate sales are great. I've got some of my best fabric from sales on the roll for like $2, and I'm talking like yards upon yards of fabric. So it's out there. If you look for it, you will find it. I see there's a few people on. Do you have any questions about like what I use or anything that I've shown so far? Just let me know in the comments. Okay, another thing that I want to make sure I can see the comments first, because okay, I think I can see now. When I'm making journals or working with paper crafts too, another thing that I do is I'll keep scraps of the decorative paper, or even if it's not decorative, but sometimes like scraps can get out of control. If you're making a lot of stuff, you might have like bulk scrap pieces. There's a few things I like to do. I like to keep them for collage art in the journals, and I also like to, if I just have a complete excess of inventory and I want to add ephemera packs to my journals, I will use different bits and pieces and make them into pretty packets, and then I'll pass them along to my customers. And I feel like when I make the blank journals, it's a way for you to get started with the process, and it's inexpensive. Generally, my blank journals are under $15, and I'll include little embellishments with them, or I'll decorate some of the pages to give you an idea of how to work with them. And I think it's just a really great way for you to get familiar with journaling, whether you're actually writing, you're doing collage art, art journaling, whatever it is. You can incorporate all of that and then some with these journals. So scrap paper is a must that I use. I love stamps. Stamps is one of my favorite mixed media arts and crafts, I guess you would call it. I love butterflies. So those are always on hand nearby. I also love swallows and birds. So I have found that there's a few different stamps. I like these foam stamps because they're easy to store, but they're not, when you like press them down, they give you that nice just like stamp full on. You don't have to use a block with them. Some stamps that come such as this one, when they're really flat like this and they don't have a wooden base or a foam base, you can use them without, but you might not get the best image. Or you can put them on like an acrylic block, which I have those too, but those, I'm just gonna say it, they're a pain. Like, I don't really like them, but I do have them and I have used them. But whenever I can find the foam stamps, those are my favorite. I love stamps, love, love, love them. Now, I don't think it's necessary, but another item I use when I'm journaling is like this, almost like a rice paper. It's very strong. It has a very texturized feel to it. See the pretty images on there. So this would be something you could use like the Tim Holtz matte medium paste with, and then decoupage. It'd be really pretty for a cover piece on a journal. Scissors. I have fabric scissors and regular paper scissors. I do recommend both. Obviously, if you're using fabric, the fabric scissors are very helpful. If you live in my area, Manistee, we have the town line here in Manistee, and they're an excellent resource for items such as this at a very discounted price. And they actually have, I think it's Fiskar, am I saying that right? It's one of those scrapbooking brands, and they have just excellent like scissors, paper products, and they're at a great price, like I said. So you can definitely find fabric scissors there. This is another item that I use. You'll find this in, it looks like an ice pick, but it's not. It's a sewing item. It's I think it's called a null or an awl, like A-U-L, I believe it is. Anyways, I got this at Walmart. I looked locally and I looked like at other places first, and there was one in like this big sewing kit, but again, since I don't sew, I'm like, oh, I don't need all that stuff. But I did end up getting this from Walmart. I'm sure you can find it at a variety of places. When I am doing my journal binding, or book binding as you want to call it, this is very handy. These are like my two main tools, my hole puncher and my awl. I think that's how you say it. You get the idea. Yeah, so those are really the gist of the items I like to use, and I'm sure there's more. Like, I use my like twine to bind with. This is really inexpensive. You can use ribbon, lace, you know, whatever you can think you can bind with, you can use it. And then, like, I showed these in one of my other videos. These are adhesive square mounts. They're double-sided. I actually got these from the Dollar Tree. I haven't used these particular ones yet, but I can tell that they'll work great if you want to give it that like 3D effect or that raised look. Would be great for card making, journaling, etc. I do like Ranger ink. This is the Tim Holtz Distressed Oxide. Rusty Hinge is this color. It's not my absolute favorite, but I do like this color for fall. It looks very nice for fall. And when I got these, I have to add a little bit of water to these. I'm not sure if that's how it's always the case. I don't really think so, but it works. The other ink that I like to use is Ranger Archive ink, and it's in a bigger, let me just show you really quick here. Well, I got a lot of stuff up there, but maybe if I get it down later, I'll show you guys. So yeah, I mean, it's endless. Don't get overwhelmed. I'm just showing you what I use quite often when I'm working on these journals. Paper, of course. So those of you may know a lot of the paper that I use is I'll coffee dye it or tea dye it. I use regular copy paper. It doesn't have to be anything expensive or special. And then I'll just sit and I'll do, like, I have a little system down, and I'll do a bulk amount, usually between 50 and 100 pieces. And I just try to do those. Now, right now is the time. If you want to dye paper, I would say get going. If the weather's hot, the dry time outside is quick. You do not want to do this in the winter time. I mean, you can. I've done it. I've like baked it in the oven. I just don't feel like it's safe. I don't know, I'm kind of like always worrying about that kind of stuff anyways. I've never had any problems, but if you can do it outside, and like I said, the time is so much quicker. So yeah, get started on that soon. Or you can purchase it. There are sellers who sell it on Etsy. And then I sometimes will go in like the section of paper at Walmart or Meijer and look at their different types of paper. There was like this linen type, and I really liked it. It was a great price, and I incorporated that. So yeah, there's all kinds of stuff you can use. Now I'll talk about some of the benefits of journaling. I can only speak for my personal experience, but for me, it helps me be mindful and more intentional about basically my life in general. I really like to come in and journal. It's a way to express yourself. It's a stress reliever, and when you're doing something that feels good and brings you joy, it kind of expands out into the rest of your life. So you'll know almost right away if this is something you like or not. I always knew that I liked like piecing together pictures out of magazines, making vision boards, doing all that stuff. And I always thought, like, why, like, how do I do this though? Like, I was like, how do I make this into a journal? How do I, why isn't there one in the store? You know, when I really was getting into when I was even dreaming this stuff up years ago, I didn't see what I seen in my mind, you know? And so then I just kind of one day started going with it. Now, there is a culture of junk journalers. Like, it is a thing. I didn't create this. It's been out there. But my passion just truly took off. I've seen a tutorial, and I'm like, I think I can do that. And I just stopped watching it, and I just kind of like went with it and made it my own. And I'm like, okay, I love this. And I like it too because it kind of goes in with the vintage style. So at least the type of patterns, papers, and some of the ephemera is antique. It is vintage. I'll sit and cut through like early 1900. Oh, I'm trying to think of what the name of it was. Well, I have vintage Women's Day magazines. Those are always fun, especially with like the different styles of furniture and the clothing and everything like that. But there was a magazine back in the day. I have it somewhere, and there's a lot of good ads in there too. So that's another way to get images to use in your journals, by the way. But yeah, the benefits are it creates a type of simplicity and for my life almost. Like, I know if I'm feeling like creating something and I just want something that's just going to be relaxing, and I can sit down and do it, and it's not going to be a lot of bending and twisting and moving. And that's the other thing. I have some pain right now in my life that I can't always do, like the big painted furniture pieces that I used to do right now, or the hauling excessively. But I can sit down and make these journals and share them with you, and it's a great thing, and you really won't know it until you try it. But the options are just, there's so much you can do with journaling. So I'm just going to get started. I'm not sure how long it's going to take me right now to do this, but I am going to make a little bit and kind of show you how I do this. So I'm going to do a soft bound journal, and this I'm just going to use a composition notebook. Heads up, it is back to school season, so you may be able to find these for as low as 50 cents. That's the lowest I've seen them. If you've seen them for less and you have a source, please let me know. I would also like to stock up on some more. I do cut these down. I don't measure. You can. I just kind of leave it more rough and definitely handmade. And so what I'll do is I'll start by ripping the pages out. You can save these line pages, and you can leave them as is for other projects. You can coffee or tea dye them for the lined paper. I'm bad. I just recycle them. I have, once you start doing so much of this, it's just like you do get an abundance of items. But I remember when I first started, I was like, where am I going to find all this ephemera, all this paper? And trust me, it accumulates quite fast. So I'm just gonna keep tearing here, and once you get down to the, like, close to the end, you'll just see it gets pretty, I was gonna say pretty easy to rip out, but that one was hanging on, so same here. Okay, so we got that done. That's the first step, and then I'm just kind of trimming away these little excess pieces. So then this is your soft cover, your foundation for the journal. And I am going to, now I don't know if anyone's on or not. I don't know if there's any comments. Just so you guys know, if you have commented or if you are on, I just might not be seeing them. So I'm just going to keep going with this, but I'm not ignoring you, I promise. If there are any comments or anything, I just haven't seen them. But that's okay. So, again, this is a soft cover, and let's see here. What I like to do is I do like to have my papers that I'm going to be putting in the journal, at least the main papers. I don't have to have like all the ephemera and embellishments yet, but I do like to know what I'm working with. So I'll use about 10 pieces of paper for a softbound one generally, and that breaks down to front and back, and folded. It's going to give you about 40 pages in a journal. And this was some of the paper that I got from Walmart. It was like that, almost like a linen feel, but it's not. I can't remember exactly what it was called, but it was really nice. And then these are my coffee dye papers. So I do 5 of each, and I do like, it doesn't really matter the order you do. I just choose to do one and then the other. So I've never done a tutorial like this, you guys, with how I do this. So I hope it's making sense. And if not, sorry. I will get better with it in time. Okay, so I think that's, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. Alright, so there's my 10 sheets. I just did like one type and then the other. And then what I'll do is I will fold them in half. And again, I don't go for perfection here, and I don't measure. If that's going to like make you cringe, go for it. You can measure whatever, but I don't. And I haven't had any problems. And my customers love their journals, so it works. Alright, so those are folded in half. Okay, so that's going to be about the size I want my journal. So what I'll do is I will just take one of these pages and then I just cut. Like I use one of these half of the pages as an outline, and then I just cut. And sometimes I'll leave like a little bit more on the, like more than the paper, just, I don't know why, in case I want to put fabric or whatnot. That's just what I do. You could trace it too if you didn't want to leave the paper on here. It might be easier. Okay. Alright, looks pretty good there. And then I'm going to just go on this side and cut this down. I think these scissors are a little dull, but they did work. Okay, so there's that. I don't know what happened here, but I totally totally screwed this one up. So let's see here. How am I going to fix this one? Well, I mean, that'll still work. Hang on, guys. I did a doozy on this cover. I must not have just Wasn't really paying attention, I guess. Alright, let's see. So, okay. Don't ask what I did, because I really don't know when I was cutting this, but I'm going to use this because it's still totally usable. It's a junk journal, okay? So I'm going to add some fabric to overlap this. You won't even know that I cut off too much on the front. I still don't know what I did, but anyways, this is the inside of the soft cover. This is the outside. What I like to do is I like to decorate the front and the back when I'm giving these to as gifts or selling them, and then I will put the pages in, and then I will cover the front and the back of the outside, and I'll bind. So there's a few different ways you can do this, but I'm going to put the tape, like, I don't feel like this really needs the spine support. This is all pretty good intact, but I'm going to do it anyways, just because I have the tape readily accessible, and that way it gives me a little bit of extra peace of mind that it's going to last for whoever receives this. It's going to last for a long time. So I just go ahead here and do this as such, and then this easily tears, and that's basically what supporting the spine means. So I put one strip down the center, and then you can come along and do one on the outside of each if you want. Generally, I'm not going to do that for this one, but you would do that if it was an antique book and the spine was weak. I would definitely do that. And what I'm going to do is, because I'm all about this fall washi tape, I'm also going to run this down the center too. So by doing that, it's just going to give it that pretty fun decorative look. So this peels off very nicely as well. And you do want to look at your tape and see, like, if there's different images on here, how you want it to go. Make sure you don't put something upside down if you don't want it like that. And I'm just going to fold this over because that's probably going to get covered up anyways, but you can also tear it or cut it off. So there, it is supported, the spine. Now I'm going to take about 2 sheets of the paper I'm putting in the journal, and I have my paper clip, and I'm going to go down where I made this crease. I'm just gonna, let me see if I can show you how to do this. Okay, no, but so just like this, and then, so what the trick is with this is however far the paper puncher lets you go before it stops. When it stops, that's where you want to pull punch at. And I'm just going to go ahead and do that for all of these papers here. You do want to make sure that the papers are lined. Alright, so there's that. And again, I'm using 10 pieces of paper, which is going to give you 40 pages once they're folded, and then front and back. And I don't measure and I don't sew, so if you don't either, that's okay. This is a very simple way to do this. Alright, I just want to make sure that I still have 10 pages here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I knew something didn't seem right. Okay, so there. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, and this is how you start the binding process. I literally will use the holes that I have to punch the awl through, and you do it right through the spine. So you just put the paper in, and then I twist a little bit just to make sure that the hole is going to be big enough for the twine to go through, or the ribbon, or whatever I'm using when I bind. I also would recommend, if you're using something that can spread apart, like my twine or ribbon, you might want to like lightly glue the end of it so it has that, just makes it easier to go through. So then there's that. And the holes look good, and then I usually do 1 to 2 pieces of paper at a time when I bind with the twine. So again, I don't measure, that's going to be way too much, but probably do like right, this is probably a good length, might be a little bit too much, but I just tie it in a bow so it's fine. And you can bind going in and tie the bow from the inside or the outside. If you do the inside, and as long as you don't cover up, well, let me think about this for a minute. Yeah, if you do it from the inside and you don't cover afterwards the bow, then if you want to add more papers, you can do that too in the future. I'm going to see if I have a little bit of glue, because this tends to spread. Yeah, right here. And again, if you are on, so I can't really see anything, but maybe if you hit the like or you leave a comment, it might show for me. So if you're on and you could do that, I would appreciate it. But yeah, just like that. So that gets it a little bit easier, hopefully, to go through here. Okay, so there's that. And then I'm going to do the same for this side. That one was much easier. Okay. And then I just kind of like even it out. So there's that. And now I'm going to, okay, I will add the paper to show you what it looks like, but I do want to decorate the inside before I get all the papers in. At least generally that's what I do, but maybe I can just, since I did bind it with decorative tape, I guess I can add the pages. I've done both ways. Normally I would decorate the inside covers first and then add the pages, but this is fine. Should try to wrap this up before Andy gets home, but I don't know, maybe I could just surprise him and not tell him I'm live. No, that wouldn't be nice, but it'd be kind of funny. Alright, so doing 2 at a time here. And I am just adding the paper using the holes that I punched and binding it with the twine, and it is just a very simple process once you do it. And it's, like I said, obviously my favorite part is like decorating and putting the color schemes together, but this is part of the process and I don't mind this either. I made 2 of these last night for the fall, late summer, early fall collection. I'm going to put a sampling of that on my website Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Alright, so there's the pages. And I'm just going to tie a bow in the center. Sometimes I'll add like a little medallion in the center with some inspirational words or whatnot. But we're just going to leave this just in a bow for today. So there, it looks just like that. And that way, if you want to add more pages in the future, you can. And this is what, you know, the outside looks like. If you use decorative ribbon or different colors, etc., then that would show. And again, like I said, I'm going to fix this piece here. I'm going to add some fabric down there, so don't let that fool you. It's going to look really cool when it's done. And that's the back. And then this is the start of the inside, and then here is the back. So, yeah, I'm going to start decorating it, but that's, I mean, that is the process of the binding. And I mean, it seems simple. There is a, like I already had the coffee dyed pages done, but if you don't have coffee dyed or tea dyed pages, that's okay. You can use scrap paper. It's a junk journal. Use what you have, you know, get started that way, and then, you know, find what you like. That's the biggest thing. Like, I like the vintage look, whether it's like true vintage or vintage inspired. I love ephemera, new or old, handmade, doesn't matter. So when you work with what you like, you're going to tend to want to do that more than, you know, using, like, everybody has personal preference. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead here and start. I really, really liked this fabric. I thought this looked very fallish. And I'm going to go ahead, and I'm probably going to use Fabri-Tac glue, which is another glue I haven't mentioned yet, but I really like it. It holds really well. And, yeah, I'm going to use that to fix my mistake, hopefully, with this fabric. I am using my fabric scissors, and I did get these at Town Line. They were like $5, and they are, oh yeah, I think, yeah, Fiskars. That's the brand. So once I do this, that'll look pretty fallish and pretty, and I'm trying to think what I would like to use for the cover. So here are some of my dyed papers here. They're all pretty much similar except for that pink one. I don't want to do the pink though. I do like this because it's not completely dyed. It has kind of like that ombre drip look. So I'm going to use this for the cover. And I'm going to put this down first, and then that'll allow me to really be able to see where I'm going to place that fabric and all that good stuff. So there's a couple different ways you can put this on. I usually use the Matte Medium by Tim Holtz, and I'll just apply it with a brush. I like this brush a lot. I got this at a craft outlet, so I can't really say for sure like where it's originally from, but yeah. And then I'm going to put a gob on because I know I have to use a generous amount for the cover, and I'm going to cover the whole cover, so I'm just, maybe if I do that. You guys see? Alright. I love my little studio office space that I have going on now. It's the same office I've been in. It's my home office turned into like a studio area. So it's a work in progress because I use this office for my eBay items too, which is a totally separate business, and I don't talk about that stuff on here really not at all, but I do kind of have a small workspace for two businesses, and we just make it work, you know? Alright, so I'm going to put this down as such, this paper. I don't know why, but everything's crooked today. I'm not even going to say what I told my mom yesterday. But, okay. It's like I almost failed kindergarten because I couldn't cut straight. And look at me now. Oh boy. Okay. So I have that down there, and just kind of. And then if there's a spot that's not staying good down, you just go under it and add more glue, like such. Okay. And you can just like tear off the excess, or you can cut it. I'll probably have to re-glue some of that, and I'm not going to worry if I tear it off a little bit too much on the edges, because like I said, I'm going to add fabric over here anyways, so that'll be covered up. So yeah. And I do need to add a little bit more glue though, because I see some areas where it's rising up. But I love this Tim Holtz matte medium. Like I said, I ordered it. I think I ordered this off Amazon. I looked for it locally and in the stores, and for some reason the craft stores are not carrying this. Now they do carry some of the Tim Holtz pastes and medium glues. I haven't used them yet. I have some, like the Crackle and a few like the Grit, and I think there's another one. But yeah, okay, so there's that. That's glued down pretty good. This is the cover. And I'm going to go ahead here and I want to add some of this fabric. So I know I cut a strip of it, but maybe, oh, here we go. And I'm going to glue it down with some Fabri-Tac. I could probably get away with tacky glue even on this strip, just because it's like not necessary to it's just not heavy, and I think that the Fabri-Tac would work, but I do have, or I'm sorry, the tacky glue, but I do have Fabri-Tac, so I'm just going to use that if I can find it. Yeah, I think that'll be really nice. So let me go ahead here and okay. Well, we might be using this tacky glue actually, because my full bottle of Fabri-Tac, I'm not sure where it is, and the other stuff wasn't coming out yesterday. This will be fine. So I'm just going to glue this on here. For some reason, tacky glue comes out really nice, but Fabri-Tac just gushes out, and it's expensive. It's like $15 a bottle, so, I mean, yeah, there's sales and stuff, but you don't really want to overflow when, you know, it's $15 a bottle. So, there. I kind of made up for the, mistake I made with the cutting. And I do want it separated from this page right now, so it doesn't glue on there. And sometimes I like to save my scrap fabric too. Always is nice to use that to make collage back bases with, and etc. Another thing I forgot to mention in this video is it's nice to have hand wipes nearby. Got these from Trader Joe's. We don't have a Trader Joe's near me, but a couple hours south we do, and Andy and I love going there. Have you seen their flowers there? Oh my gosh, and their cards, their cards are 99 cents, and they're amazing. They're like, I don't know, they are so cool. Like, we need a Trader Joe's. We won't get one, but it would be really cool. I'll settle for an Aldi too. Alright, so there's that. So I told you that I had kind of cut that front page a little bit wonky, and what I did to kind of even it out is I added this strip of fabric, and then this is the back. So I will decorate more of this with probably decorative paper, maybe a stamp, and then the back. just kind of working with what I have in front of me. I liked this paper a lot. It's this like yellow and white floral paper, and it actually does look pretty good on there. It clashes a little bit. So I think I'm going to hold off on this cover because I'm just kind of drawing a blank for the moment. But I am going to do the back. And I like Tim Holtz, pretty much anything. But he had this really pretty like wallpaper paper. And I think that would look kind of cute on the back of this. But first I'm going to cover this page, and I'm going to cover this page using this sheet of paper right here, and I'm just going to glue it down, and then we'll just cut off the excess. Alright, so there's that. Okay, and I do have plans for the spine, so I am going to cover that up, but I'm not worried about the paper gets over there right now. There's that, and then I'm going to take this pretty piece. I think I'm going to do this on the back, and I like how that looks, so we'll go ahead and do that. So some things I've done with the journaling, like when Andy and I travel, I like to we stay in a couple different places. I do like the IHG, like franchises, like different hotels. So we'll stay in those. I do the rewards, and that way we get like free rooms and stuff. That helps, especially when we're on the show or on the road with shows. But if we don't do that, we also like to do Airbnbs. And we went to this really cool Airbnb, and it was just like a little like relaxation getaway, and it was near Harbor Springs, and I journaled like the whole time we were there, and it was so relaxing. So one of these days I'll show you what I pack when we go places, so you can like do this when you're traveling too, if you desire. So I'm just going to glue this on, and I mean, you've seen all the mistakes I've made, like mistakes, right? Like during this process, and it's still going to turn out amazing. Like you really can't mess these up. It's paper, there's so much you can do. Yeah, it's all good. So I think I'm going to come back in because I want to cover up this spine part. So I would like a more solid fabric for that, or some really cool tape. Let's see what I got here. I do have this, which would look kind of cool. That's a lot going on though. Give me a minute, guys. I'm going to get some solid fabric. will be a nice balance to balance out. It's just this linen, like this muted gold color. I think with this fabric that looks nice together. So I'm just going to cut off a strip, and sometimes I like to tear it if I want that like jagged look. Looks kind of nice on junk journals. And then let's see here. So what I'm going to do, because I don't want too much, so I'm going to like, because this is the front, so I'm just going to fold it over and do it like that, and then I'll glue it. It's a whole different thing when like you come on live. You didn't really have it planned to do a journal, but you decide you want to make a journal live, and then you like, that's just how it goes, you know, but it's fine. I am thoroughly enjoying this very much. And this journal will actually be available Friday when I have it completed. It'll be part of the fall mini launch, because I think I'm going to do a live like shopping event for my actual like big one where I have more inventory available. I just wanted to do something because I've been creating some items, and it's fun to add items to my website when I have them available. I was thinking about doing some vintage items mixed into like home decor, so we'll see. I don't want to like promise, because I'm just not sure what I'm capable of getting done right at this time, but it'll be good. Alright, so there's that. I'm going to cut off this excess here. I really like how this is shaping together. It looks real cute so far. So far, this is the front, this is the back, and now the spine is like covered. And I'm still undecided with what I'm going to do with this piece right here. A Gwen Frostic print would look really cool in the center there. I actually went to a sale, believe this or not, and there was a free pile, and yeah, most of it was junk, but I was digging through it and I found a whole like little portfolio flip through of all Gwen Frostic prints for free, and it was amazing. I know I stuck it somewhere, but I just reorganized everything, so you know how that goes. But that would look really cool there. Or I have like these right here. This one, I actually really like this one. This might be it, you guys. Because see how cool this is? I love the colors. They go with the journal. And then like on the front like that. And then I could tie twine around it. Yes. That's what we're doing with this one. I'm not going to overthink it. That was like right there, and it was totally meant to be. But what these are is, just real quickly, these are called journal cards, and you can insert these inside your journal, and then you can write on the back of them. Now this one is more of like a grid, but generally they're lined. It doesn't matter. You get the idea of how you use them. So there's that, and I'm going to put this on the front. Oh, I see. Hey, Sherry. I'm seeing some comments, but like I said, if you did say something or you're on or you liked it, for some reason, it's just not showing me. But I'll catch up when I get off. It'll show it. Okay, so there's this. I'm going to stick that on the front like such. Oh my gosh, I love that that was available, because that's another thing. When you find just that right piece when you're working on something, it is like, oh, meant to be. I love it. I love when that happens. And that's like that's how it goes usually. So it's really fun. And when you start doing this, you'll see what I'm talking about. But there. Okay, I love it. This is one of my favorite fall ones so far. And I didn't have any of this planned out before I started with you guys today. So it is super, I want to say simple because I do enjoy, like, kind of have a gift, but you can have that gift too. So, and then here's the back. So I'm going to add a little more to the back. I'll probably ink the edges, make it look aged a little bit. Hang on. Let's see. Hey, Patty. Do I? It wasn't planned. I can tell you that. So, you know, I've noticed so throughout the years, if I don't, like, I work better if I don't, like, have time to prepare, kind of. I don't know how else to explain that. It's just, like, if I have time to think about stuff, I way overthink it a lot of times. So I think there's, like, a happy medium you have to find with that. Have I? No. Sometimes if I'll just be spontaneous and I'll just be like, well, I have time and I want to go live, so I'm going to go live. And I used to be so afraid to do live videos. Like, I still, like, don't get me wrong, it's still like, oh, like, for a minute, but you just have to get over that. I mean, you don't have to, but if it's something you want to do, it's actually, it's not that bad. It really isn't. Alright, so there's that. And again, like, I'm trying to think what I want to do on the back here. Oh, I just thought of something. I had this really pretty piece of handmade paper, and I think it'd look really pretty in the center with, like, a stamp. That would be really pretty. That handmade piece of paper is in the other room, I think. So we might add that in a minute. But let me flip this open, and okay, we have the inside to do, because remember, like, when I say I have, like, blank journals for sale, usually I'll leave most of the pages blank, but I do like to decorate the cover and the back of the cover, and then the front inside cover and the back. So and then, like, what I'm gonna do is add a little ephemera packet full of items that I think flow with this journal theme, and those are gonna be for sale on Friday. They're $14. It's a great way to get started. Amazing back to school gifts, back to college, you know, even for teachers to have, to, like, just, they're, you know, they're great gifts. That's all I can say. So let me get started with the inside of this one. I think I'm going to keep it pretty simple. I have in front of me, like these. Those are nice, but let's see. I'm probably going to go with these. They're just, like, readily available, and they're super fun. So this is the sheet that I'm going to use. Oh, I really like this one too, but it doesn't really fit with this journal, and I like this one does. Hi, Kai. Are you bored? Aww. That's my dog. She's my sweet little girl. Okay, so we're going to glue the inside of this one. And I mean, there's not too much longer with this. I tend to really get into this. So once I get going, I'm like, oh yeah, I could add this and I could add that. And so, you know, I put quite a bit of time into these. But if you really were making these for, like, to sell or something, and, like, I mean, I am, but, like, if you were on, you wanted, like, a certain amount of time, you know, I really like doing this. So for me, I don't really count how long I spend on most of them, but some of my completed chunky journals I have like 15 hours in. I mean, no joke, but I loved it. I was kind of down for the count for a week, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna journal, and that's what I did, and I loved it. Alright, so that looks pretty cool. Just gonna go ahead here and cut off the excess. I think I'm using my fabric scissors on paper, which is like, you don't do that, but I just did. Alright. Cool. Okay, so, you know, there's that, but then here is the inside now. And what you doing, Kai? Do you want that just a little bit more? Alright. And what I'll probably do with the inside of this one is create like a pocket down here. But again, I'm going to add my ephemera pack. I'm going to attach it with a paper clip so it'll be removable, and then you can fill the journal with it. But at least we know the inside's decorated. And then the last part we have is this page on the back here. So I think I'm going to use this, and I'm just going to glue it down. Seems like it's a really nice day out. I haven't really been out too much. I let my dogs out way earlier, but it looks like it's getting nice. So, and I know what they want to do. They want to go for a WALK. I take each one. I usually go about a mile, but if it's too hot today, I'll probably shorten that a little bit. I haven't, like I said, I don't know. Looks like it's getting nice out. What's it like out, you guys? You tell me. Alright. So, now we're going to put this one down. I'm going to cut off the excess. And there's the back. Okay, so realistically this is pretty much done, but I'm going to add a little bit more to it. Like, I want to create my ephemera pack. I'm going to use some of my scraps and add them to the ephemera pack, and then it's going to have a really nice cohesive flow with this late summer, early fall journal. But that is it. I'm going to probably add something right up here. I might ink it. Let me do that. I'm going to ink it so you can see me use that dabber I showed you in the beginning. If I see where I put it. I get talking and yakking and I don't know. Hopefully my dog didn't get it. Did you eat it, Kai? No, here it is. Okay. You're a good girl. You're a good girl. Yes, you are. Okay, so this is the dabber I was telling you about, and I just discovered you can literally put it on your finger to dab with, so I'm going to try that out. Hi, baby. And I'm going to use this because I think this is a really great fall color, Rusty Hinge Distress Ink. Okay, so I dab, and so there's definitely going to be plenty on here. So here's this, and I'm just going to take it around the edges and just like ink the edges. And when I ink them, can you see the top there? So it gives it that nice little like aged fall look. Just gonna do that. Hi, babies. My dog. So, okay, so there's that. And then I'm gonna ink the edges of the top here. And down on the bottom. All right, I do. I really like how that's looking. Now, if you are doing creases ever, like if I wouldn't have covered this, and it would have been, like if I would have covered it with like, say like the aged paper, and I would have closed it and went down the side like that, I would have made it look really defined. So that would have been pretty too. Okay. What do I got going on? So I see here, I guess I didn't cut off the excess right here, so we're going to do that really quick. I don't mind a little bit of it overhanging, really. It just gives it that like handmade, time-worn look, so that doesn't really bother me. And I'll just leave it like that. So yeah, this is it. I may add a little bit to it. Definitely going to add an ephemera pack to the front. And then you have the 40 pages. There's the back, and then there's the back of the cover. It's, you know, it's not expensive to make. It does take your time. but it's a lot of fun. It's definitely something you can do like a mother and daughter date, or like a, I don't know, there's just like so much that you can do with these. It'd be fun. Like I have this like vision, and I don't know when I'm gonna truly be able to do it with COVID and blah blah blah. I want to do this as a retreat. I want to rent out like a really sweet Airbnb and just do like a girls getaway where we craft, and I want it on Lake Michigan, or close. So I definitely have some spots picked out. I've been, you know, working on this through in my mind and how I would like it to go and everything like that, but I was hoping like late summer, early fall. That's not going to happen, I don't think. I mean, never say never, but just with everything that's going on, I better wait a little bit maybe for that. But just know, like, one of these days I would love to teach this in person, a little retreat. So there's that. I'm going to wrap this up. Thank you for watching. If you're new, my name's Heather, owner of Northern Vintage Decor. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, YouTube, and our website, northernvintagedecor.com. On Friday, I'm going to be launching some of these journals at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. These particular ones are $14. Included is an ephemera packet that you can decorate the bear journals with. They're all handmade by me. I use new, vintage, antique, and handmade pieces. Some may have like all of one kind, some may not have any, but you get the idea. If you have any questions, please ask me. If you ever want to do like, I don't know. Yeah, if you have any questions, basically, send me a message, heather@northernvintagedecor.com, or feel free to message me on my social media, Facebook. Instagram's a little wonky. I don't like to message on there, but I mean, I will get it. It might just be delayed. Thank you guys so much. Have a great day. And check back Friday on our website, northernvintagedecor.com, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. This will be available along with some other ones I have made. All right, take care, guys. Bye-bye.